Hello, my friends. This is Tosif starting a new live stream. I know it's late, 11:47 p.m. here in the Central Time Zone. I'm starting this late. I was hoping to do this live stream at around 10 p.m., but Saturday, and so it's hard to stay on schedule. But I'm glad to see so many of our friends joining. We got Frank from Florida. Everyone say hello to Frank from the wonderful state of Florida. Good to see you, Frank. We got Kay Cooper from the great state of Texas. We got Z over here. Hello, Z. Good to see you. And Kay Cooper, our friend Kay. Always great to see Kay. Please say hello to Kay. And please say hello to Colin. That's our friend Swaggy. Swaggy is here. Salerno is here. Z is here. Say hi to everyone. Swaggy, so good to see you. I see you. Did you change your screen name? I don't see. Hold on a second. Maybe it's just my screen. Yeah, okay. So Swaggy. Swaggy is here. That's Colin from California. So my friends, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. It's I know Saturday night a lot of people have plans. Maybe they're out having a party. I don't know. Spending time with family, spending time with friends. And I'm spending time with my friends right here. Right here. Yeah, Swaggy, I do see the screen name change. That's okay. I'm not confused. I know you're Swaggy, so good to see you. All right, okay. So we got more friends joining. All right, wonderful. So let's get started. Now today I'm going to talk about a city in the American Midwest. Today I'm going to be talking about a city that's not too far away from me. Today I'm going to be talking about a city that I've talked about before many times. A city that is poorly run, a city that is in deep, deep trouble, a city that is, that doesn't seem to have a bright future if the status quo remains. Okay? If this is the kind of leadership that the city continues to have, then the city doesn't have a bright future. But the city can have a bright future if there's conservative leadership, if there's bold leadership that can help the city move in the right direction. So you may be saying, Tosif, you're just giving us a lot of clues, but you're not mentioning the name of the city. My friends, you can see it in the title of this video, Chicago. That's the city I'm talking about. Chicago, that's right. There's ongoing crisis in Chicago, but before I get to that, I just want to share with you that it's officially the holiday season. The holiday season is here. It's here. Thanksgiving is just days away. Okay? And next month it's going to be Christmas. And then the New Year. So holiday season is here. This is what people wait for all year. People wait for the holiday season. They love to put up the lights, the bright lights. They love to put up the Christmas trees. They love to enjoy the season. And my friends, people look forward to spending time with family. They look forward to spending time with friends. They look forward to buying nice gifts, presents for the family members, presents for friends. People are going out and about, going to shopping malls, going to stores, going to restaurants, listening to wonderful holiday music. They're spending time with their loved ones. And Chicago is a major destination that many people visit. It's true. It's one of the largest cities in the United States, a very famous city all over the world, very widely known. Just like New York, just like Los Angeles, Chicago is also very, very widely known. You go to other parts of the world and you ask people to name an American city, they'll probably say New York, they'll probably say Los Angeles, they'll probably say San Francisco, they'll say Chicago. They may mention other names, Dallas, Miami, Orlando, Washington, D.C., right? Las Vegas. So Chicago is one of the major destinations that people visit during the holiday season. Now, the question that I'm going to ask you is Chicago really safe? Is Chicago really safe? If you are going to be visiting a city to spend nice time, to enjoy the restaurants, to enjoy the cafes, to do shopping, to do sightseeing, you want that city to be safe. It's a city where you go for tourism and you want that city to be safe. Is Chicago safe? Now, we got some news, some very sad news. Many people were shot in Chicago. Incidents of shooting left one person dead and 8 people injured. The person who died was a young child, only 14 years old. Shooting that left a 14-year-old dead. This is a tragedy. And this happened in Chicago, and many other people were shot. And then just a few hours ago, I saw updated information. I saw another news that said actually 2 people have died. Not 1, 2 people have died, and 16 have been hurt in Chicago over the weekend due to shootings. And the weekend is not over yet. We're not into Monday yet. Sunday is coming. And already over the weekend, 2 people have died in Chicago and 16 have been hurt, 16 injured. So the number keeps being updated. And so initially I saw a smaller number, and the number went up as hours went by. So the point is, as days go by, more and more people are hurt because of crimes in Chicago. It's not just shootings. We hear a lot about shootings, but it's not just shootings. There are other forms of crime. Crimes that may not necessarily lead to bodily harm, but crimes that have tremendous negative impact on people, on society. Carjackings, robberies, theft, and more. If somebody steals your vehicle, that's a huge loss for a person. If you depend on your vehicle for work, to go to work, if you depend on your vehicle to go for grocery shopping, if you depend on your vehicle, and you got one vehicle, and you've got a tight budget, it's not like you got a lot of money sitting in the bank and you can just go buy another car. No, a lot of people, they're struggling. They're still struggling because of 4 years of Biden, the tremendous damage that the Biden administration has done to our economy. Now, Biden is not in office anymore. But we are still suffering because of Joe Biden's inflation, because of Kamala Harris's inflation. We used to call it Bidenflation, meaning Biden's inflation, but it's also Kamala's inflation because Kamala was there as the vice president. So whatever happened, all the damage that happened, she's also responsible for it. It's not just Joe Biden. So we're still suffering. Trump is making great decisions, improving our economy, but the extent of the damage that Biden did is so huge that it's going to take a while for us to recover from that. So it's not like, a lot of people have a bunch of money sitting in the bank for them to go buy, oh, my vehicle got stolen, I'm just going to go buy another one. It's not that easy, okay? It may be easy for multimillionaires and billionaires, of course, but it's not easy for a hardworking person who's struggling, who's trying to recover from the losses that people experienced during the Biden administration. So, if your car gets stolen, that's devastating. If there's a robbery in your business or your home or your place of work, that's a huge crisis for people who get affected. So anyway, there are so many different forms of crimes taking place in Chicago. It's unbelievable. And so this holiday season, people are trying to make a decision whether to go to Chicago or not. Like if I go to Chicago, if I decide, oh, here, I'm in Wisconsin, I'm going to go to Chicago, it's just, 2.5 hours, 3 hours away by car. I'm just going to go for a day, spend some time, come back. I have to think if it's safe to go there. I have to think if I'm going to be a victim of a crime. If I go to, is my car going to be stolen? I mean, these are all things that people are thinking about before deciding whether or not to go to Chicago, especially after hearing about these shootings that took place over the weekend. And the weekend's not over yet. So this holiday season, I know there are many businesses in Chicago. They are desperately waiting for customers. There are many stores, many, shops, small businesses that provide excellent products and services to their customers. And they are hoping and praying that they get a lot of customers, a lot of tourists in Chicago. But if crimes continue, people are going to say, no way, I'm not going to Chicago. It's too risky. Chicago is crazy. Brandon Johnson, the mayor, the city council, what are they doing? Why aren't they doing anything to combat crimes? Why are they not taking steps to make Chicago safe again? So people are not going to go. That's right. That's right. Because safety is what people look for. If you are going to be driving to Chicago with your family, or wherever, maybe you live far, far away, and you're going to fly into Chicago to spend a nice weekend, check out the city, visit nice places. There are so many things to see. But if you find out that Chicago is not safe because of crimes and criminals running around, and the government of Chicago, the local government, not doing anything, the governor not taking any action, you're going to say, you know what? I'm not going to go to Chicago. I'm going to go someplace else. I'm going to go to Florida. Well, good for Florida, but bad for Chicago, bad for Illinois. People are going to say, I'm going to go to Texas. Not going to go to Illinois. Let's go to Texas. Let's do that. So the businesses are waiting for customers, but there's a big uncertainty. My friends, the Democrats who are running the city, they are in power. You look at the city council of Chicago, full of Democrats. You look at the mayor. Oh my God. How do I even describe what kind of a leader this mayor is? Is he a leader? Does he have any leadership skills? When you analyze the actions, when you analyze the words of Brandon Johnson, the things he says, the things he does, my friends, do you see any leadership? Is there anything that he is doing that's really helping Chicago? I don't think so. Oh, here's someone who lives in Chicago. Okay. If you live in Chicago, share with me what you're seeing in Chicago, what you're experiencing. If you live in Chicago, share with me your thoughts. I want to hear from you. The Democrats who are in power, they're not really helping their own people. They're not helping the Chicago residents. They're supposed to be representing the people of Chicago and taking actions in their best interest, but that is not happening. Yeah, somebody is writing, Chicago needs help. Chicago does need help. Charisse is here. Charisse, good to see you. Thanks for being here, Charisse. Thank you for being here, Charisse. Anyone else? I see a lot of people. Anyone here who is new to this channel? Please make sure that you're subscribing. I would appreciate that very much. Make sure you subscribe, my friends. Okay. Several hours ago, President Trump posted on Truth Social about Chicago. Because President Trump is paying attention to everything. He knows what's going on in the city. He knows that Brandon Johnson is a failed mayor. There's no leadership. You know, supposedly he's the leader, he's the mayor. But there's no leadership when you observe the actions of Brandon Johnson, when you listen to the words of Brandon Johnson. Same for Pritzker. He's the governor. He should be taking action to make Chicago safe again. As the governor, he represents the whole state, including the city of Chicago. But what is he doing? Nothing. So several hours ago, President Trump wrote on Truth Social, and I'm going to read to you his quote, so stay here with me. President Trump wrote, massive crime and rioting in the Chicago Loop area. Multiple police officers attacked and badly injured, 300 people rioting, 6 victims shot, 1 critical and 1 dead. In the meantime, Governor Pritzker and the low IQ mayor of Chicago are refusing federal government help for a situation that could be quickly remedied. The people are chanting, bring in Trump, end quote. That is true. The people are chanting, bring in Trump. We need Trump. The people of Chicago, if you live in the city, I'm talking to you. I actually want to find out how many people over here are from Chicago. If you're watching this, are you from Chicago? Why don't you let me know in the live chat? I really want to see. Just write Chicago or I'm from Chicago. Go ahead. Okay, we got one person, I'm from Chicago. Okay, great. Someone else, I live in Chicago. All right. All right. And I'm sure there are others who are watching, probably not participating in the live chat. Our friend Colin is saying Chicago is a failed city. Do you agree with Colin? Do you agree with Colin who said Chicago is a failed city? Colin, I can tell you, people will overwhelmingly, if people have common sense, if they are able to see and analyze things, if they are able to understand the reality of the situation in Chicago, they are going to agree with you, Colin. They are going to say Chicago is a failed city. Thank you all. And thank you, Colin, for participating. We got another person saying Chicago is falling apart. Someone saying Chicago is beautiful. I agree. I have said that so many times. Chicago is a beautiful city, but it has to be managed properly. It has to be governed in a proper manner. You may have wonderful buildings, you may have a beautiful city, but if there's crime, if there's, unsafe situation, then people don't want to go there. It may be the most beautiful, but people are not going to go if it's not safe. And one of the reasons why people want to go is because it's beautiful. But when they hear about all the crimes taking place, they say, no, not going there. That's the thing. I want Chicago to be successful. I want Chicago to thrive and be safe again. And so, my friend, let's continue. So, when President Trump says the people are chanting, "Bring in Trump," that's exactly right. As I've said, you talk to people, you go to Chicago, and that's why I asked who's from Chicago. You go out there in the city of Chicago, talk to people. Find people who have common sense, find people who believe in good leadership, good governance. Find people who are closely monitoring the ongoing crisis in Chicago, and you talk to them and you ask them the following question. You're going to ask them, do you think we need President Trump's help to solve the crisis? Do you think we need the Trump administration to come in and make Chicago safe again? You know what the answer is going to be? It's going to be yes. People are in desperate need of help in Chicago. For a tourist, it's easy to make a decision. A tourist could say, I'm not going to go. I'll change my mind. I'll go someplace else. But for those who live in that city, you've got a home. You've got an apartment. You've got a small business. Your family lives in Chicago. Your children go to school in Chicago. You can't just uproot yourself. You can't just say, you know what, I'm packing my bags. I'm going to leave the city. A lot of people will do that. And it's easier for people who are single to just pack up and leave. It's easy. But if you've got family, if you've got a spouse, if you've got your parents, if you've got your children, if you've got your siblings, you got a community of friends, you've got your social network, it's not easy. You can't just pack up and leave. Maybe you'll find a job somewhere else very easily, but you still cannot just abandon your social network and your family and just go. And if you have a business, it's very difficult to pack up and leave. So People need help. Chicago needs help, and they are saying, bring in Trump. What President Trump is saying is absolutely right. People are saying, bring in Trump. If you go to Chicago and you talk to any person, that is what you will hear. They're going to say, we want the Trump administration to come in and solve the problem because Brandon Johnson has failed and J.B. Pritzker doesn't seem interested to do anything. J.B. Pritzker, there's something that J.B. Pritzker is really busy doing. You know what that is? I'm going to share that with you. There's one thing that J.B. Pritzker is extremely busy doing. Can anyone tell me what that is? I'm going to give you half a minute. Think about it. What is the one thing that J.B. Pritzker is occupied with? He's busy doing one thing. You know what that is? He's dreaming. He's dreaming of becoming the president. That's all he can think of. From the moment he wakes up in the morning till the moment he goes to bed at night, he's dreaming about being the president. And probably in his sleep too, he's probably dreaming of being the president. Okay? I mean, you listen to some of the things he's saying he's doing, the way he's positioning himself. He's clearly thinking about 2028. Okay? And he's not the only one. Gavin Newsom on the other side of the country doing the same thing. Dreaming, daydreaming. Wants to be the president. Clearly, he's got a podcast now. I don't know what Pete Buttigieg is thinking. Maybe he's going to run. Maybe Kamala's going to run. I mean, Kamala's case is a little different because if you ask Kamala, she says maybe, maybe not. What a clear answer. If you ask Kamala if she's interested to run for president, she's going to say maybe, maybe not. I mean, that tells you how intelligent she is. She just gave you a clear answer. Maybe, maybe not. Okay? And whatever conclusion you want to draw from that, you can. So my friends, J.B. Pritzker, I believe he's just thinking about 2028. He's thinking about becoming the president. Do you think J.B. Pritzker will be the president? Okay, let's not get that far. Do you think he's going to win the Democrat Party nomination? Let's just talk about the first step. Because, he has to get the Democrat Party nomination in order to be on the ballot for the general election in 2028. Do you think he's going to get the nomination? Kay Cooper says never. All right. Anyone else? Z is saying no. Anyone else? Do you want to make a guess? Tommy Brown, good to see you. Tommy Brown from Colorado says no. Colin says nope. Okay. Salerno says no. Who else wants to make a guess? Everyone's saying no. Is it unanimous? Anyone saying yes? Gregory is saying no. Oh, there's one person who says yes. Oh, I would love to hear your reason for saying yes. If you think that J.B. Pritzker is going to get the Democrat Party nomination for the U.S. presidency, if you're saying yes, which you did, one person said yes, I want to hear why you said yes. It's a genuine question. If that is what you believe, I would like to hear from you, your reasoning. If you talk to the people of Chicago, they're going to say, we need help because Pritzker has not done his job and Brandon Johnson has not done his job. We need the president. We need the greatest president in American history to send resources, to send personnel, to fight crimes, and to make Chicago safe again. Now, if you talk to the leftist activists, okay, now when I say go and talk to the people of Chicago, and they're going to tell you that bring in Trump, we need Trump's help. That is, if you talk to people who have common sense, people who understand what's going on. But let's say you go to Chicago and you pick a radical left activist, okay? And you ask that person, and you just say, oh, you know, there are all these carjackings or all these crimes and shootings taking place. What's your opinion? Does Chicago need help from the Trump administration? If you ask that question to a radical left activist, they're going to say, no, we're fine. Oh, we're fine. Everything's great. Everything's wonderful. There's no problem. If you say, no, there are carjackings taking place. Oh, no. That's not true. What about the theft? What about the assaults? What about, the shootings? Oh, no. Everything's getting better. Things are getting better. The radical left will never give you an honest answer if you ask them about the real situation in Chicago and how bad the things are. They'll try to paint a rosy picture. Everything's fine. In spite of all the carjackings and all the theft and the robberies, people getting robbed. The radical left will say everything's fine. It's unbelievable. Oh yeah, the radical left is going to ask for one thing. If you say, do you need help? They'll say, send us more money. Send us violence prevention funds. That's what the radical left will tell you. Oh, does Chicago need help from the Trump administration? Do you need National Guard troops? Do you need, ICE agents? Do you need Border Patrol agents? Do you need, more federal law enforcement in the city? No. We don't need that. Oh, then what do you need? Oh, send us money. Send us, millions and maybe billions of dollars. Oh, okay, what are you going to do with that money? Oh, we're going to do some violence prevention programs. It's so bizarre. It is so absurd. Chicago has not been able to fix any problem. Mayors after mayors, Democrat mayors after Democrat mayors, Chicago has not been able to solve the crime problems. In spite of all the money that they have poured into Chicago. Violence prevention, crime prevention programs. Where are the results? Where are the results? Can anyone tell me? What happened to all that money? How did you spend all that money? What kind of violence prevention, what kind of crime prevention programs did you guys do? That violence continues, crimes continue. And they have the audacity to ask for more money. Send us more money, federal government. We're going to run some programs. Like, how do they allocate those funds? What organizations get those funds? What do they actually do? Is the money just paying for the nonprofit or whatever organizations or government agencies just just paying salaries for the staff who work there, or is there actual money being used to implement some evidence-based solutions to combat crimes? Is there any kind of evidence-based violence prevention, crime prevention strategy where the money is being invested? I don't think so. Because if money could solve the problem, then Chicago would be a very, very safe city. Because a lot of money has been dumped into Chicago and we don't see the results. No results. Thank you, my friends, for tuning in. I see a lot of new names here. Please make sure that you're subscribing to this channel. I would appreciate that very, very much. Okay. I've been doing live streams for a long time, since January of 2024, close to 2 years now. And people often ask me, how can we support you, Tassif? What can we do to support you? We love your channel. We love this community that you've built. We love the people who tune in for the live streams. We love the discussion. You talk about important issues. Tassif, you not only share information, but you're willing to learn from us. Yes, I learn from you a lot. I learn from my friends here. I answer your questions. I see your questions. I see the information you share. And it's an exchange that happens here. So if you're saying, Tassif, you got a great channel, well, thank you. And there's a way you can support it by subscribing. It doesn't cost you any money. Doesn't cost you any money. Not a penny. You just subscribe. That's what you do. Thank you, my friends. You're all so wonderful. You're all so wonderful. So, if you talk to the radical left activists in Chicago, they're not going to admit that there's a problem. And the only time they admit there's a crime problem is when they ask for more money. More money. They'll blame the guns, but they won't blame the people who pull the trigger. They'll blame the guns. Whenever there's a shooting, they blame the guns, but the guns are objects. It's about solving crimes. It's about catching the criminals. The perpetrators, they have to be put behind bars. The DAs will have to prosecute. The police should have the resources to catch the criminals. The radical left activists will allow the city to suffer. And the suffering has been going on for a long time. The pain, the suffering has been going on for a long time. Things got really bad when Lori Lightfoot was the mayor. And when she left, people saw a ray of hope. Oh, finally, someone's going to be coming in and doing something to solve this crime issue. And then came Brandon Johnson, made it worse. What a failed mayor. The city is suffering, and still the radical left will tell you that they don't want any help from Trump. But the people of Chicago want Trump. They need help. They want help. Thank you, my friends. So great to see you all. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you. Now, I'm going to talk about a different topic now, actually. Very important topic, but a different one. But let me ask you a question. Do you think Chicago needs help from President Trump? Say yes if you agree with me, say no if you don't. Let's see. Does Chicago need help from President Trump? Joseph is saying yes. Joseph is saying yes. Tommy Brown is saying yes. There's another Joseph who's saying yes. Tommy Brown, as I said yes. Colin is saying yes. There's a viewer named Opie. Is it Opie? Saying yes. There's someone else who's saying yes. Gucci is saying yes. Jessica is saying yes. Okay. Frank is saying yes. Go ahead, share your answers, my friends. I see a lot of yes, and you can see that too. I've mentioned the names of the people who are saying yes. There's a lot of support right here in the live chat. A lot of support for the idea of President Trump sending resources to Chicago to provide help, to fight crimes. Lots of people saying yes, and there are others who are not participating in the live chat, but they are also saying yes, because people talk to me afterwards too. I hear from people who say, Tausif, watched your videos in person. When I meet people in person, they say, Tausif, watched your videos and keep up the good work. You're doing great, and whatever you're saying, we agree with you. Thank you. Hold on a second, my friends. Okay. All right. So, I'm happy to answer your questions. Feel free to ask a question, okay? Feel free to ask questions here in the live chat. I'm happy to try to answer. Not possible to answer every question, but I'll try my best. Ask meaningful questions that are relevant to the discussion. The live chat is open, and you can participate as you wish. Joseph is asking if it's too late to help Chicago. No, it's never too late. It's never too late. A lot of suffering people have already faced. A lot of damage has already been done. But we have to be forward looking also. We have to see, okay, what can we do now to help the people who are living there now and to help future generations of people in Chicago? So, no, it's not too late. It could have been done sooner, but of course we didn't have President Trump in between. We had 4 years of Joe Biden when things got worse. So now I think, yes, it's time to help Chicago. But Chicago has to want help, and Chicago does want help. But that's the people of Chicago who want help, not the Democrats in elected offices. So anyway, I want to talk about a different topic now. There's a new legislation in Ohio It's called the Currency Access to Spend Here bill. In short, it's called cash bill. Currency Access to Spend Here bill, cash bill. And it would require businesses and government offices to accept cash for payments up to $500. Do you think it's a good idea? I think it's a good idea. What this bill would do is it would require that businesses and government entities, so government agencies as well as private businesses, they have to provide at least one point of sale location where people can use cash. Common sense, right? I mean, a lot of people, they don't like using credit cards. They don't like using cards. They don't like using the new fancy methods of payment. They're old-fashioned. I mean, a lot of people love using cash the old-fashioned way. There's nothing wrong with that. Tommy Brown is saying cash is king. Joseph is saying I like cash. Colin is saying good idea. Salerno is saying good idea. Z is saying cash is private. Exactly. When you pay cash, I mean, you're not having to deal with, your credit card and debit card companies. You're not having to deal with the bank. You're not having to, you don't have to worry about fraud, because in some places there's always a risk. If you use a credit card, who knows, you may become a victim of fraud. But with cash, you can feel safe, right? Frank says, I like cash. Kay Cooper says, cash is common. This is really, I mean, this is what I call a common sense legislation. Now, it doesn't say that you must use cash. No. But what it basically does is it's going to require government agencies and businesses to provide that option to people. I'll share with you something. Hold on a second here. I actually wrote about this. Okay. I actually wrote about this. This was back in the year 2020. I wrote a letter to the editor, which was published in the Capital Times. That's a newspaper in Wisconsin. And I wrote, please accept cash as method of payment. That was the title. And in that letter to the editor, I wrote, at the time in 2020, this was during the COVID outbreak, if you remember, I wrote that there are some businesses in Madison that are not accepting cash as a method of payment. And I wrote that I believe businesses should start accepting cash again. So, and I further wrote that during the COVID outbreak, some businesses in Madison, Wisconsin, where I live, stopped accepting cash for transactions, and they continue to follow that policy. This is me writing in 2020. Now, what prompted me to write this letter to the editor is an experience. So I remember it was in 2020. I went to a restaurant, and it was a restaurant where you basically order the food and you tell them what you want, and they, from behind the counter, they will take a bowl and they'll put whatever food you want. It's like, it was not at a mall, but it was like one of those, the kiosks at a mall where you go and you say, okay, I want some fried rice, I want some, whatever, orange chicken, whatever you want. You pick 3 or 4 items, and then you go to the cash register, and then you pay, and then you take your food and you go sit at a table and you eat your food. So it was a restaurant like that, okay? Not inside a mall, but same format. So I went and I started at the first stop. I said, okay, this is what I want. I'm going to have that sandwich. I want that soup. I want that salad. And so by the time I got to the counter, to the register to pay, they said, I was offering cash, and the cashier said, sorry, we don't take cash. I'm like, what do you mean? Oh, we're not taking cash. Okay. So I did have my card with me. So I used my card to pay. But this was not announced ahead of time. Like, there was no big sign that said credit card only. So anyone, let's say somebody walks in and only has cash. So you pick your food, you go to the counter, and you're going to be embarrassed because your food's ready, you're about to receive your plate, and the cashier would tell you, sorry, we don't take cash, it's card only. And if you don't have your card, too bad. I mean, it could lead to embarrassing a situation. Okay? It's not like you don't have money. You do have money. Valid form of payment, cash, which is probably the best form of payment in my opinion. Before the credit cards were introduced, people used cash. But in spite of having cash, you could run into a situation where you're embarrassed because your food's ready and you're about to pay and you don't have your card with you. So what do? You just walk out? So anyway, and also you got to keep something in mind. If you are somebody who cares about people living in poverty, if you care about people living in poverty, then you have to have cash as a method of payment. There are many people who are poor. They don't have a bank account. They don't have a debit card. They don't have a credit card. There are many people like that. They have cash. That's all that they have. Okay? I mean, in order to have a credit card, you have to be, approved for a credit card. If you ran into a massive financial, unfortunate situation in the past, and maybe, you don't have credit card anymore, or you apply for a card and you didn't get approved, so you don't have a credit card. Maybe you don't have a debit card. You just have minimal expenses and you pay cash. Maybe you write check. A lot of places will not accept check anymore. Okay? Well, for a check, you have to have a bank account. That's true. But there are people in society who don't write checks, who don't have credit card, who don't have debit card. They use cash. So what do? If you say, oh, we're doing card only, it basically means you're closing the door on those people living in poverty who use cash. You're basically saying, sorry, we're not going to be able to serve you because we don't take cash. So really, I mean, if a business is saying we don't take cash, sorry, the question that you should ask is, do you care about the poor people? It's a valid question. It's a valid question. If you walk into a business and they say, sorry, we don't take cash, the question you should ask is, do you care about the poor people? people who don't have fancy credit cards, people who don't have debit cards because they don't have bank account. Do you care about those people? And if you do, why are you not accepting cash? By the way, do you agree with my viewpoints, whatever I'm saying? Z is writing elderly people. Exactly. A lot of elderly people. That's right, Z. That's right. So a lot of elderly people, maybe they have a lot of money. Maybe they have saved money their whole life by working hard. They could apply for a credit card. They would get it. They could have debit cards because they have money. They have bank account. But they choose to use cash. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. And you know what? Elderly people, they have to be safe. And so you ensure financial safety, especially in your old age, by staying away from credit cards. Because you know, credit cards, it's very easy to become a victim of fraud. With cash, you got cash in your pocket, you got cash in your purse, and you don't have to worry about anything else. You don't have to worry about, oh, is my card getting hacked, or is something happening, or I just swiped my card. Is it, is the number being stolen? Whatever. So a lot of elderly people, they're not poor, they have money, but they don't want to use cards, and they have every right to say, I don't want to use a card. I'm just going to use cash. So good point, Z. Good point. All right. Lawrence is saying you're right, Tosif. Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you so much, Lawrence and others. So I wrote that. Please accept cash as method of payment. And I said, while there is no federal statute that mandates that a private business must accept currency or coins as payment for goods and services, businesses should provide customers with a variety of payment options, including cash, for convenience. And cash is a legal tender. You cannot say no. Okay, so anyway, this bill in Ohio that I was talking about, the person who introduced this, one of the state legislators, basically said cash is the basis for business in America and that taxpayers should have the ability to use cash in their daily lives. This is common sense legislation. This is common sense. So, my friends, we talk about big issues, right? National issues, international issues. But I wanted to draw your attention to this state legislation. This is in Ohio. It is House Bill. The number is 554. Okay, let me just double check that. Ohio House Bill 554. That's right, 554. Ohio House Bill. All right, this is in Ohio. It says require government private sellers to accept cash as payment. This is a wonderful idea, I think. Okay. Edwin is here. Hello, Edwin. Good to see you. And once again, I'm not saying it should be one or the other. Like, you got to have either this or that. You should have both. There should be options to use both. Okay, you want to use a card, great. You want to use cash, great. You want to use, fancy electronic payment where you hold up your phone and they scan whatever barcode on your phone, and that's your payment. I mean, yeah, great. Science and technology. You want to do electronic payment, the new fancy stuff. Great, go ahead. But you can't say we don't take cash. Thank you. Yeah, maybe not a barcode, but you know what I'm talking about. That electronic code, not a barcode. Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, there are some folks here, this one person who's trying to figure out where I make a mistake or not. Yeah, it's probably not a barcode, but you know what I'm talking about. There's a form of code, because I use that too. I have. Okay, I don't like it, but I have used it on occasion where I pull up an app and I hold my phone up and they scan that, and it's a form. I've used that. I've used card, I've used cash, I've done all kinds. All right? Thank you, my friends, for all your support. Lawrence, I appreciate that very much. Um, oh, Lawrence is talking about Madison, beautiful, clean city. It's a beautiful city, undoubtedly. Um, all right, Edwin says mega. Thank you, Edwin. All right, my friends, let's see. So yeah, I like this legislation. I think this is common sense. Other places should do it too. Someone's asking, do you do video debate? Well, in school I have participated in many debate competitions and extempore speech, public speaking competitions. I've done that. I've been doing that since I was a very young boy. Okay, I've done that. Yeah, I got certificates that I could, I don't know, maybe post pictures of. Debate competition certificates. Oh, someone says, invite me to your stream. I'd love to oh, you'd love to debate with me? Okay. Well, I don't know who you are. I have invited guests on my channel. My friends know this. I've had congressional candidates. I've had state legislative candidates. I've had Republican Party leaders who have been guests on my channel. So I've done that. Okay, but I don't know who you are. The person named James. Yeah, I don't know who you are. So yeah, you have to introduce yourself. You have to let us know who you are. Okay, are you a candidate for public office? Are you a political strategist? Are you a local government official? Are you somebody from a think tank? Are you, a military service member? You got to introduce yourself, okay? Okay, someone's asking, bro, who are you? Oh, you want to know who I am? Okay, well, what would you like to know? What would you like to know? What about me? Okay, I'm a naturalized American citizen. Okay. I have a history of serving in public and private sectors. Okay. In the United States. I'm a public policy analyst by training. I have a degree in public policy. My undergrad is in political science. My graduate degree is in public affairs, which is, public policy. In school, I've studied cost-benefit analysis, public policy analysis. I've studied public budgeting. I've studied economics. I've studied a whole bunch of things. So I have a master's degree. I have an undergrad degree. I have written and have been published widely, including letters to editors and op-eds in many newspapers across the country. I'll give you some names. Washington Post, New York Post, New York Daily News, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, Pittsburgh Post Gazette, Philadelphia Inquirer, USA Today, the Western Journal, Wisconsin State Journal, did I mention that? Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, I think I mentioned that already. The Capital Times, and more, actually. Boston Globe, Boston Globe, and others, okay? I have the list, so I can look it up. Oh, Washington Examiner, Washington Times, okay? There's more, Dodgeville Chronicle. So I've been widely published, okay? And I have a very active political life. Am I a candidate for office? No. At least not yet. Okay, who knows what the future has. So I'm not a candidate for elected office, but I understand the political world really well. And if you want to know more about me, you just have to go to my website. Or you can Google my name. Search me on Google. You should get some search results, which will help you understand my background, okay? So yeah, if you want to know more about me, you can ask me. Happy to let you know, okay? All right. My full name is the name that's on my channel. That's my full name, okay? That is my full name. Believe it or not, I don't have a middle name, okay? That's right. So my first name and my last name, that's it. I don't have a middle name. Look at my channel. Since you're here, look at the channel. And that's my full name. Any more questions for me? Go ahead. Feel free to ask me questions. Someone's asking, have you ever considered that you are wrong? Yeah, I'll tell you, we all learn, right? So our views can evolve over time. That's true. You learn about a subject and you form an opinion and you learn more and more. And maybe your opinion will strengthen. Maybe whatever opinion you have, it'll just become stronger, or maybe it'll change. Maybe you'll go a different route. That can happen to people, okay? Obviously. Now, have I ever considered that I'm wrong. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. So there's this debate between people who support the time change every year and those who don't. Like, going from standard time to daylight saving time and then back to standard time. Some people like that. They like the spring forward and fall back. I don't. I don't like that. I want the same time throughout the year. And I like standard time. Okay. I know it's not a real popular opinion because people seem to love daylight saving time. A lot of people out there, they say, we want daylight saving time throughout the year. We don't want standard time. I like standard time. Okay. I would just keep standard time throughout the year, not daylight saving. So that's where a lot of my friends, people who agree with me maybe 70, 80, 90% of the time on political issues, they say, Toss, if you're wrong, daylight saving time is better. And I say standard time is better. So that's a view that I have, which a lot of my friends say that I'm wrong. They're right. Theirs is better. Mine's not. And I say, well, maybe at some point I'll change my mind and I'll say, oh, okay, daylight saving's better. You're right. It may happen, but it has not happened yet. I think standard time is better. Okay. So yeah, that's just gave you an example. So yeah, maybe I'll say, yeah, you know what? Maybe 10 years down the road, I'll say, I was wrong. My friends were right. Daylight saving is actually better. So I could be wrong. Who knows? Okay, but so far I like standard time. So I just gave you an example. All right, anything else? Ask me questions, my friends. I'll answer. Go ahead, my friends. Ask me questions. I'm just looking at a few things on the screen. I apologize if I'm too silent. Okay, so someone's asking if I disagree with Trump on anything, right? Or, did Trump do something that I think he shouldn't have done? Okay, I'll tell you. And I think, see, President Trump, he made a lot of decisions during his first term in office, decisions that he himself now regrets. Like, for example, selecting Jeff Sessions to be the Attorney General. At the time, it seemed like the right decision, okay? But then eventually we realized what a great mistake it was, okay? And at the time, I didn't realize it. I thought Trump was doing, a great thing, choosing the right person for the job. And later on, we saw it was a big mistake to select Jeff Sessions to be the Attorney General during the first term. So, yeah, that was a mistake that President Trump made. He realizes it, and I think we all realize it now. It was probably one of the greatest mistakes of President Trump's political career to choose Jeff Sessions to be the Attorney General. I think many of my friends here will agree with me, right? That was that was probably one of the biggest mistakes, okay, in American politics, I think. When you choose the wrong person for a job, for such an important position, that's, and President Trump now realizes it, okay? And who could have known? Who could have known? I mean, you look at Jeff Sessions' history. I mean, he seemed to be a wonderful choice to be the Attorney General, and that ended up being, an absolutely wrong decision. Okay? And so, yeah, President Trump probably has regrets. Like, why did I pick that guy? And we, the Trump supporters, we also say, yeah, that was such a bad decision. But we didn't realize it then. No one was telling back then, Mr. Trump, that's not a great decision. Don't do this. No, we thought, oh, great. Jeff Sessions, he's going to be great. And it just ended up being a completely wrong decision. Okay? All right. Any more questions for me? Okay, favorite president? I think we discussed this previously. Yes, President Trump is my favorite president. Other presidents that I like, other former presidents, Abraham Lincoln, Eisenhower. Okay, Abraham Lincoln and Eisenhower. I really like them. Okay. Now, if you tell me, okay, give me a list of top 5, I can expand that list. I could say, Ronald Reagan. I could include Ronald Reagan. George Washington, obviously. But if I have to give you like 3, I would say Donald Trump, Abraham Lincoln, Eisenhower. Yes, some people might be saying, why do you say Eisenhower and not Ronald Reagan? Well, I'm just giving you my honest opinion. Okay? I'm just giving you my top 3. And we can debate why this is my list and not something else. But this is it. Donald Trump, Abraham Lincoln, Eisenhower. Okay. We're gonna do one thing now. We're gonna see. Here. Oh, someone's asking for debate. The only people who are guests on my channel are people I know, people I've met in person, people I know, people whose history I know. And you can see I have invited elected officials as well as candidates, even congressional candidates on my channel, okay? As well as people who are not elected officials, but they are deeply involved in politics in Wisconsin. People I've known for years. I've invited them. So, you know, you got to understand there are YouTube channels where you'll see a new guest every day, or a few guests every week, or a new guest every week, or whatever interval you want to choose. Okay, there are people who have YouTube channels and all they do is invite guests and talk to them and debate them. This is not that kind of a channel. I mean, I do have guests, but I'm not just inviting people every week. Okay, it's really between me and my friends here. It's really between me and my friends. This is how we do most of the conversation. Okay, it's not a TV program. This is not a show where I have, half-hour slots and I invite a guest and I ask a series of questions and they answer and that's it, and I just go through guests after guests. Okay, this is more of a conversation. It almost is like a living room. It's like us friends sitting in a living room having a chat. All right. Yes, I have invited guests and I hope to invite more guests, but that is not the main focus of my channel. Does that make sense? So I think I've answered your question. The person who's saying debate me, this is the first time I'm seeing your name on this channel. I don't know who you are. So sorry, it's not gonna happen. Okay? Thank you. I mean, if I see somebody's name here for the first time, um, you know, I'm not interested in having a debate here with somebody I don't know. Okay. All right, my friends. All right, okay. 1 hour, 23 minutes. I don't know if we shall wrap up. Anything else you want to talk about, or should we wrap up the live stream today? Your decision, my friends. Okay. All right, my friends. Thank you so very much. It's great to see you all again. I see a lot of new names, new subscribers. That's wonderful. Thank you all. Someone's asking, worst presidential candidate in history. There are a lot, but Kamala Harris maybe? Worst presidential candidate? Maybe Kamala Harris, right? Would you say that? I don't know. We thought Hillary Clinton was, the worst presidential candidate for a while, and then came Kamala. Yeah, okay. Then came Kamala. Kamala is the worst, probably. Okay. Um, all right, my friends, thank you so very much. I'm going to be back again with more videos and live streams, so stay connected to me. May God bless you all. May God bless President Donald J. Trump. May God bless the Trump administration. May God bless the Republicans in Washington. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless our U.S. allies. And may God bless freedom-loving people all over the world. Thank you, my friends. I'm going to be back again very soon. And remember, together we will make America great again. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Have a good night.